and cut the music here. Alright. Yeah, the music was loud because that's meant to be just an intro thing. I was just taking care of something real quick. Somebody mentioned that on Twitch yesterday, it said I was playing GTA 5, even though I switched it on Restream, but I guess it didn't go through, so I went directly to Twitch to fix it there instead. Anyway, I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops. Wrong window. Alright, so we are back for more Ddlc Plus. We're going to pick off right where we left off yesterday. Avon asks if I got his DM. I have not checked my DMs today yet. I just got home from work a little while ago. I didn't want to take too long before I hopped back into the game. So, for those of you that missed it, yesterday we played through the main story in Ddlc Plus, or we sped through it because there was really no difference. We tried to basically 100% the original game and get the special ending, and so we unlocked a bunch of stuff. We unlocked many of the side stories here. I think there's still one we need to unlock with Monica. But today, I think what I want to do first is watch the rest of these side stories that we haven't seen yet. That way we can unlock some more of the Halo Dude Cool 12. Thank you for the follow. But anyway, yeah, once we see all the side stories, maybe we'll unlock some music, and with that music, we'll be able to further unravel the mystery that, thanks to Avon, we started to discover within the game's files. How you unlock all of them, we discovered, or Avon told us rather, that it's about the time on your computer screen. So there's a lot of time adjusting yesterday. But anyway, in order to unlock the next step in this mystery of the files, we need to unlock more music, and hopefully we'll be able to do that by watching more of the side stories. So that's where we're going to start. If you did not see my stream yesterday, you can see the whole thing over on my live stream channel, Caesar Madrazo Livestream Archive on YouTube. And you can probably also see it with, you can probably also still see it on Twitch and DLive for the time being, but I think those are going to go away eventually. But on the YouTube channel, Caesar Madrazo Livestream Archive, it should be there forever. Anyway, enough talk. We're going to go ahead and dive into the side stories here. So we have understanding. Alright, so the club meeting is suddenly interrupted by the sound of the door, causing Monica and Sayori to turn their heads. So this is immediately after the events of the last side story that we saw yesterday. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. That's exactly how the last one ended. A face that seems familiar. There she is. I knew it was going to be Yuri. Alright. Sayori's eyes widen, recognizing the girl. She very conspicuously mouths to Monica. It's her! It's the girl! It's true, the girl standing in the doorway is none other than the girl Sayori had come across reading alone in a classroom. Thanks to Monica leaving a flyer on her desk, it seems she found her way to the club. Are you here for the literature club by any chance? Am I in the wrong place? No, you're not. This is the literature club. Please come inside. The girl fully steps in the door, but continues standing against the wall, avoiding eye contact. Sayori continues to fail, containing her excitement. It's happening, oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming. Sorry it's a little empty. I'm Monica and this is Sayori, and we run the literature club even though it's just us so far. But what's your name, by the way? I'd like to join your club. Already? Wait, really? Are you sure? I mean, I should be good enough. Ha! Everyone is welcome here. You don't have to be good enough. Oh. Do you want to have a seat? We'd love to get to know you. The girl nods, sliding over to a nearby desk and gently sitting down. So what's your name? Yuri. I'm Sayori and this is Monica. Sayori, nice to meet you. Do you like fantasy? Like books? What do you think she meant, Sayori? Yuri looks at Monica. Fantasy is cool. Yes. Have you heard of Annabelle Dupont? Ha, I can't say I have. Oh, well, she's my favorite author. I'm on her 5th book, and it's just Yuri grins and presses her knuckles against her cheeks. Enjoy. Classic Yuri. Hey, Sam, what's up? You can borrow my books, I wouldn't mind. You're really in for an incredible experience. Wow. So, I thought Yuri was supposed to come across as shy, but she's known these two for all of about 3 minutes, and she's already offering to lend books to them and stuff. Monica stammers, caught completely off guard by Yuri taking control of the conversation. Yeah. She glances sideways at Sayori, silently asking for help. Why? I'd love to. Sounds like you're really into them, so they must be great. I am so happy I found this club. Oh, I'm so stupid. I left all my other books in my locker. I should have brought them. Yuri quickly stands up. I'll be right back. I'll go get them for you. Ah, you probably only need to bring one for now. Sayori nervously says that, noting to herself the considerable heftiness of the book that Yuri set down on her desk. True. Okay, I'll go get the first one then. Yuri exits the club room in a flash, leaving Monica and Sayori silently exchanging glances. Oh my god, I wasn't prepared for this. You weren't? I thought the whole point was to try to get new members. What do you mean you weren't prepared for this? How do I handle someone so intense? Monica is coming across a lot less confident in these side stories than she is in the original game. I've, no experience with fantasy, except maybe stuff that I read when I was a kid, but that's probably like a joke compared to what she's into. You're jumping to a lot of conclusions for somebody you just met, Monica. I'm sure it'll be fine. In fact, I think it's neat that we have different people who are into different kinds of literature. It'll be fun to learn from each other. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but what if this is her only interest? Doesn't it kind of seem like that? Monica, don't you think you should be more optimistic? We have a new club member. There shouldn't be room for anything but being happy. Well, not only that, but so what if it's her only interest? If it's her thing, then it's her thing. I'm excited to get to know her more, aren't you? Yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry for being so hasty. I just got really anxious all of a sudden. It's because you're afraid of not being able to take the lead. Ha, what the heck? It's kind of scary how you can point things out like that, Sayori. I just like learning what makes people happy or sad. Yeah, hey, you know what? You'd probably be great at helping Yuri feel comfortable here. Maybe you could take a break from helping me with the administrative stuff and just focus on spending time with her. Yay, that's exactly what I want to do. Besides, Sayori lowers her voice, I'm probably gonna need all the time I can get. She taps her finger against the dauntingly chunky book Yuri left sitting on the desk. Right afterwards, the door opens to reveal Yuri's return. I'm back. Her breath is slightly heavy, which combined with her short time gone indicates she may have ran at least part of the way. She makes her way over to Sayori and sits the book down on her desk. Just as Sayori feared, the book Yuri brought for her is just about equal in size to the one already on Yuri's desk. Well, there are probably a few things you should know before getting started on it. Wow, she is pressuring them to just start reading it so quickly. There are some things that are more explained in other books that take place in the same universe, so going over those would be good to keep you from getting confused at the start. Sayori nervously interjects, well, I was thinking that maybe we could just get to know each other a little bit more. I think if we're going to be reading together, then I would like that. From across the room, Monica smiles and nods at Sayori when Yuri isn't looking. Oh, okay. Yuri sits down, then looks at her book, then glances around the room, showing no indication that she has anything more to add. So, what made you decide you wanted to join the club? Well, I like reading, so I was immediately interested, and yet it took you 2 days to come down here? Judging from how excited you are now, I would think that you would have come here immediately. Your attitude switched from seemingly very shy to just, intense. Without any kind of provocation whatsoever. It was just oh, I learned about this literature club, so I was immediately interested. You didn't come over immediately, though, and yet, the way you're talking about your books right now, I would think with this level of intensity that you would have come immediately. Maybe you still would have been shy to enter the room, because, yeah, you're having to talk to people, which is a weakness for Yuri in the Ddlc canon. But the opportunity to join a literature club, I think the intense part of her would have taken over immediately in that regard. But again, not going against the man himself. Dan Salvato wrote this stuff, so it's his universe. I had no idea that someone was starting a literature club, but that's my fault since I haven't been paying attention to any of the club recruitment advertisements. I only found out because Yuri glances over at Monica. Monica! Monica came into my classroom and put the flyer on my desk. You mean you saw her? Suddenly Yuri's face darkens and she shakes her head at herself. I was so stupid, I got too nervous and couldn't even look up, so she just walked out. It took me several days just to come here because I was afraid that Monica told everyone how inconsiderate I was, but I decided that was probably irrational. Alright, so there's the explanation, I guess. Wait, no, that was totally my fault. I felt so bad about interrupting you that I just, walked out. I was actually really hoping that you would come by. Yuri exhales in relief. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. If she thought that she was being irrational, she wouldn't have left a flyer on the desk. I always seem to interpret things as the worst possible scenario. Well, I was really nervous to come here for some other reasons too, such as there being too many people. Well, you can see now there's only 3. Not that I mind that much, but I have a really hard time having to meet a large number of new people at once. You and me both, Yuri. So it's actually amazing that it's just the 2 of you. I definitely came at the right time. Aw, that makes me happy. I'm so proud of you for working up the courage to come. Yuri smiles warmly to herself. I've never really had the privilege of sharing my interests with others before. It's so hard to find others who are into the same things I am, except online, so I thought the literature club would provide a chance for me to do that. What kind of other things are you into? Like, genres? I don't know, just anything, even if it's not literature. Oh, just things you would think are dumb. Sayori pauses, a look of concern across her face. How about I'll tell you something I'm into, and then you can tell me about something you're into. I suppose that would be okay. Okay, well, I'm pretty into, crafty things. Like making cute little collages or decorating things, like cards or jewelry boxes. My room's always cluttered with random stuff because I keep buying things to make gifts for my friends, but then I put it off to the last minute. So yeah, that's something kind of silly that I'm into. You sound quite creative. Not that much, it's just that you'd be surprised by how much you can do with scissors and glue and stuff. So I have to share something that I'm into now, right? Sayori nods. Well, I guess I'm into nature. I love nature. Monica, I'm gonna start a nature club. No, you're not. You're stuck here with me now. Am not. Oh, yeah? Well, I hereby appoint you as vice president of the literature club. There, now you're stuck with me. Hey, don't give me responsibilities. She already gave you responsibilities. Oh, I'm sorry, Yuri. I interrupted you. Go ahead. It's fine. Yuri pauses, feeling awkward after having gotten cut off. She didn't get cut off. I like going out into the woods or to the park, just places where you can walk or sit and not have any people around. It's peaceful. Just nice to kind of remove myself from everything that matters and let my racing mind operate autonomously for a while. When do you like to do that? It just depends on my mood. After school, on weekends, whenever I feel like I need it. Wow, I feel like I would never have the time to do something like that. I find that we have a lot more time than we think we do, if you don't let it slip through your fingers. The 3 continue the conversation led primarily by Sayori, but with Monica chiming in every now and then as well. Monica had intended to leave it to Sayori and focus on her own work, but she found it difficult not to join in. Before they knew it, the end of the day was upon them once more. Oh, it looks like we should be wrapping up for today, so are you two going to be starting that book starting on that book the next club meeting? That's the plan. I'm so excited. Sayori beams. Yuri collects her things. Once packed, Yuri wordlessly waves to Sayori and Monica with a gentle smile. Bye! As Yuri exits, Sayori enthusiastically returns her farewell. Once again, Sayori and Monica are left in the club room. Sayori, you are a lifesaver. I didn't do anything, I just talked. Still. Besides, it really lifted my mood. It feels really nice when I can put my energy toward other people like that. She was really excited to be included, you know? It made me happy. Well, there's no doubt in my mind that she'll have a great time here with you engaging her. How are you feeling about starting the book with her next meeting? I'm kind of scared, but I think she'll be happy as long as I'm trying my best. I think you'll do great. After the surprise of a new club member, it seemed like everyone has their spirits lifted with something new to look forward to. Alright, so is that it? Or is there another day? There's another day. Another school day ends. Swallowing her anxiety, Yuri makes her way to the club room, expecting to be the last one to arrive. As she opens the door, she's surprised to find only Sayori in the club room. It's club time again. Monica went to the computer lab, so it's just us today. Is that okay? Yuri silently nods, unable to make eye contact. I'm sorry about yesterday. Sayori tilts her head, unsure of exactly what Yuri is talking about. Well, I mean, the way I got overly excited to share my books and how you had to stop me so we could talk first. It was so inconsiderate of me. I got too excited and forgot to think about everyone else in the club, so, haha, Yuri, you didn't do anything wrong. I thought it was cute how excited you were. Hey, Legendary. Well, still, I think I changed my mind about the book. We don't have to read it. Huh? Why? Because I know that you were just humoring me anyway. In retrospect, it's rather obvious that nobody was truly interested. But if you like it so much, then it must be worth sharing. I've already decided I'll join the club, so you don't have to try so hard to entice me. That's not what I was doing. A moment of uncomfortable silence stretches between the two of them. Well, the thing is, we don't even have any club activities yet. I mean, Monica and I have just been working on recruitment stuff mostly, so it just sounded like something fun that we could do together, reading your books. You know, like, as a club activity. That would be okay, right? Why am I being so resistant to this anyway? It's exactly what I wanted in the first place, and you're being so nice about it. I really don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry for being like this. You don't have to apologize. Just tell me if there's anything I can do to help you feel more comfortable here. Sayori pulls her desk up against Yuri's and sits next to her. The book in question is already on Yuri's desk. Peering over, Sayori reads the cover of the book. Dusk Bell, Part 1 of the Everlast Saga. It's Dusk Bell by Annabelle. Sorry, I'm ready now. Oh, right, I should probably get some paper. Yuri grabs a spiral notebook of hers and tears out a few sheets of paper. Wait, how come you need paper? Oh, it's useful to draw things out sometimes, like maps, timelines, family trees, or just for taking notes. Notes? Yes, that's an effective strategy. Nice. Exactly, I'm sure it will be especially helpful for someone new to the genre. Sayori's joke flew completely over Yuri's head. But thinking about it, she decides that it's probably for the best that it did. Well, I'm not used to having company through this, but I'll try to help make it as accessible as possible. I trust you. You're like super smart. Oh, please. Yuri tries to dismiss the compliment, but she can't hide her smile and light blush. You can't generalize intelligence. I'm only smart in the things that I have a lot of experience with. Contrarily, I'm awful at anything involving real people. That should be evident enough from the 2 days I've spent here so far. So in my eyes, it's everyone else who comes off as smart, especially you. No! Sayori rubs her shoulders against Yuri's. You're such a sweetheart when you're not being shy. Is she flirting with her? Anyway, would you like to get started? Okay. After the minor diversion between them, the two get back on track with their planned club activity. Yuri begins to guide Sayori through the basics of the fantasy world her story takes place in. The more that she details the races, factions, history, elements of magic, the more questions Sayori seems to have. But despite Sayori's expectations, Yuri eloquently guides her through it in a way such that it's fun to follow along. It becomes evident that the world-bringing aspect of the story, not just the story itself, is one that Yuri finds her passion leaning towards. How do people come up with this stuff? It's like the exact opposite of the writing that I do. What kind of writing? Oh, like poetry and stuff like that? The things I write are just like just putting down the feelings that come into my head, you know? But this is like, there must be so much planning and hard work involved. Ah, you're into poetry? I think there's an appendix that includes some of the kingdom's written works like poetry and folk songs. No way! Haha. Yuri giggles, filling Sayori's heart with happiness when she realizes it's the first time she's heard Yuri laugh. It means Yuri must be having fun. Anyway, I think we can get started reading now if you're ready. Okay, but I can't read very fast. Alright, Maddock, thanks for stopping by. Oh, that's fine. I'm very patient. Patience is something I pride myself in. I see. Sayori jots Yuri is patient into her notes. Hey, that's for the book. Ha, I'm just kidding. But I'm kind of glad you're patient because I need that sometimes. A lot of times. Sayori flips through the first few pages of the book, getting past the table of contents. Okay, chapter 1. The room becomes silent as the two of them begin to read. But the silence only lasts for a moment before Sayori speaks up again. What does vindicated mean? Ah, well, in this context, it essentially means that he was proven innocent. It's okay to ask questions, right? Of course. Sayori turns the page. Are these footnotes? A lot of the dialogue has cultural references that require explanation to be understood. The two continue reading. Yuri's relaxed expression remains unchanged. Meanwhile, Sayori's expression grows tense as she tries to make her way through the dense text. Up until now, their expressions had been reversed, with Sayori easily navigating social situations and Yuri struggling in them. But the tables have turned. Wait, are they talking about the past right now or the present? Where? Right here. They're talking about the past. These paragraphs are describing a flashback that Barnas is having. But they didn't tell me that. It's implied from the context. Sayori rubs her temples. The two of them continue, with Sayori asking fewer questions. She begins to understand the value in the notes as she finds herself referring to them somewhat often and even adding to them, but her reduction in questions comes not from her getting used to the reading, but rather from her fearing that she'll come across as stupid. At last, Sayori reaches the end of the chapter. I think we can stop here for now. Okay, Sayori takes a deep breath and closes what little of the book she's gotten through so far. So, what are your thoughts up to this point? Sayori tries to find words. Am I doing well so far? I'm not sure I understand. Well, I don't know. When it takes me so long to read and understand things, it makes me feel really dumb. It's implied in the context that this is the past. Well, yeah, of course it is. I mean, this is a prequel to the original game. I'm assuming that all the digging and stuff that you do is supposed to take place after the events of the original Ddlc, and they're basically experimenting with other ways that this VM1 universe that they're creating could be seen, or could, like, how the events could play out differently. But I really like how into it you get. It makes me want to keep going and to keep doing my best so I can see it the way that you do. The relaxation in Yuri's expression fades. I see. Yuri quietly gathers her things. We can continue tomorrow, right? Yuri pauses, then shakes her head. We can do something else tomorrow. But I'm sorry. Wait, sorry for what? I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this anymore, that's all. I'm sorry that I made you. Yuri leaves. You weren't asking me. Sayori is left alone with her words. How did this happen? We were having fun just a second ago. She's shy. You know that. It's my fault. I said something. Okay, it's the depression kicking in. I said something stupid and I hurt her. I should have just told her that I enjoyed it. Monica trusted me with this. It's the only thing I'm good at, and I still mess it up. What if she doesn't want to come back? Drowned in guilt. Sayori stares blankly at her desk, spread with notes. The book sits next to them. Right. If she wasn't coming back, then she wouldn't have left the book here, right? Unless she just forgot to take it with her. This is horrible. Was it really because she thought I wasn't enjoying our time together? Or maybe she wasn't enjoying our time together because I'm not good enough? I'll probably let her down so much by having trouble follow along. Yeah, I'm sure if I was smarter, she would be having so much more fun. I need to do better for her. Damn, Sayori. Alright, so that is part one. Part one of the understanding side story done. And yes, you can tell the context, there was indeed a misunderstanding there. So now we're going to do part two of understanding. Let me just take a quick sip here. Oh, good call, Avon. There's new pictures. Good. Get a chance to rest the voice. It doesn't look like there's any new pictures. Oh. Okay, there's one. Okay. Nice picture of Yuri. Let's see. I know that we're allowed to change the game's desktop background. I'm going to change it to this, just because it's ominous. Oh, I got an achievement. Error. Alright. I wonder if that's because I changed the wallpaper to this, or because I changed the wallpaper at all. Anyway. Yeah, Sam, you're right. It is a very interesting way to present the new context. Oh, we got the new content. I mean, we got new music, apparently. I have to change it to Monica. It lets you change it to Monica and nothing else. You mean like if I tried to change it to one of the other girls? Like if I change it to Sayori, will it turn into Monica? No, I mean there's Sayori. Alright, cool. Then I'll just change it back to the wallpaper I had then. Alright, so I guess now we'll go into the second part of the understanding side story. For the first time, Sayori is the first to enter the club room. Anxiety courses through her relentlessly. Will Yuri show up today? Sitting at a desk, she stamps her feet in an attempt to calm down. Why am I letting this affect me so much? I'm doing everything I can to make Yuri happy, but my best wasn't good enough. But it was still my best, but I'm letting everyone down. I'm always just a disappointment. Sayori continues to wrestle with her self-depreciating thoughts, or self-deprecating thoughts. If every tiny noise causes her to lift her head in anticipation of Yuri's arrival. Minutes pass and nobody enters the club room. Not Yuri or Monica. Uh-oh. Gosh, I'm so late. Why did I offer to help those other students with their work? I'm such a pushover sometimes. It's going to leave such a bad impression on new club members like Yuri if I'm not the first one there. Monica rounds the corner, approaching the club room. As she does so, Yuri? Ah! Yuri jumps at the sound of Monica's voice. She's sitting outside the club room against the wall next to the door. Embarrassed, she quickly closes the book she was reading and stands up. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry I'm late. You didn't have to wait outside for me. The door to the club room is open. It's not... Whoops. Sorry, messed up my light here. Yuri stammers, unable to explain herself. She peers inside the club room through the window, then looks away. Actually, I was wondering if I could help you today instead. Huh? Me? With the club publicity stuff? Yes. Oh no. So, yeah, we see what's going on here. Yuri is embarrassed to talk to Sayori because she thinks that Sayori was not enjoying herself and, like, Yuri was just boring her. And Sayori was just being nice about it. And Sayori is now sad because she thinks that Yuri doesn't like her because she did a bad job making her happy yesterday. Yuri is utterly confused. Monica is utterly confused. So both of them are a little ashamed of themselves and think the other one doesn't like them. Why is Yuri asking this all of a sudden when she was so eager to spend time with Sayori before? Did they not get along at all? What, didn't get along after all? Monica looks into the club room herself to see Sayori sitting alone inside. Okay, it's kind of a simple job, but I'd be happy for you to tag along. Oh my god. Me too. Monica is worried, but she finds it difficult to insert herself into whatever conflict that may have arisen. It's a little ironic, she realizes, that she could be so conflict avoidant after having been in the debate club. Okay, let's take a walk together. I just have to make copies of this new flyer, then go around to the billboards and replace the old ones with the new ones. So Monica isn't even thinking of going in there and saying anything to Sayori? I mean, you don't have to insert yourself into the conflict, but this is the vice president now of your club. So, I mean, you're not even gonna touch base with her? Monica is a pretty bad leader. Yuri nods and the two set off. The two walk in silence. Without Sayori, Monica finds it quite difficult to strike up a conversation. So, how's everything been going? Fine. That's good. Neither of them follow up with anything anymore. Monica tenses up at the stinted conversation. How the heck does Sayori do it? Sorry I didn't see you yesterday. I went straight to the computer lab to work on the flyers. Sayori told me. What did you two end up doing yesterday? Just some reading. Oh, I'm glad. It's really starting to feel more like a literature club now. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I felt so intimidated at first when I heard about the kind of reading you were into. But you know, it's kind of stupid of me because I'm just intimidated by things I'm not good at. And it's silly to assume that everyone who comes to the club will just have the same interests as me, but it's so cool that you were able to get Sayori into it. It's like the club is working. I'm really happy about it. She's not into it. Huh? She's not into it, and I'm stupid for forcing it onto her. Yuri falls silent again as if she started her thought but can't figure out how to continue it. Did something happen? No, it's just me. Yuri pauses. I'm thinking. A moment passes in silence, then Yuri shakes her head. I shouldn't be complaining to you all of a sudden. Don't be silly. I won't think you're complaining. I just want to make sure you feel welcome. If it's important to that, then you can tell me anything. Well, I do feel welcome. Too welcome, I guess. It's not an issue with the club, it's just an issue with me. So I feel wrong to inconvenience you with it. Monica pauses and thinks. Well, what if we put it this way? It's my job as president to understand the needs of the club members, right? That includes Sayori, Monica. Sayori doesn't even know you showed up today. You didn't even walk up to let your vice president know that you were here. We're going to have all kinds of people joining this club, hopefully anyway. I know that she's supposed to be, well, I don't know if the canon at this point is she's supposed to be 18, or since this is a prequel, she could be 17 here, but I feel like even by age 17, that's something that should be common sense. And learning about the diverse needs and interests of everyone will help me come up with club activities that everyone can be happy with. That everyone can be happy with? Not just only some people? Of course. I need to be looking out for everyone, otherwise what kind of club would it be? I see. Yuri looks a little more relaxed. It says they're all 18 when you first start the game. Well, when you first start the original Ddlc, I know, but this is before the original Ddlc, so they could be, they could be 18. They also could be 17. Yuri looks, unless you're saying that they're 18 at the start of the side stories, in which case, okay, cool. But still, the point stands. If they're 18 too, then it should be common sense. Yuri looks a little more relaxed. It signals to Monica that switching from a sympathetic approach to a pragmatic one was a good choice. Each individual truly does have their own needs. Okay, Yuri takes a deep breath. I'm a really weird and awkward person. I've accepted that about myself. I just don't know how to, connect with other people. How is it so easy for everyone else? How do you just make conversations about any arbitrary topic? Well, I can tell you, you just don't think too much. There's this old YouTube channel from way back in the early days of YouTube. I actually can't remember what it's called, but it was about these three guys who basically went around showing that it's not that hard to talk to strangers and not that hard to, talk to girls and get yourself a date. Hey, Blue Marlin, thank you for the follow. And there was one video I remember that they were going up to girls and talking about vegetables. Like, they'd just find themselves, some attractive woman walking out, standing outside a club or something, and go and just start striking a conversation with them. And yeah, they would just... and they would think of the dumbest topics to start talking about. It was kind of like a game they made. I think how it worked is somebody else was feeding them the topic that they had to talk about, and it was always the dumbest things, like vegetables or cartoons or something like that. And they showed that no matter how weird a topic may seem, that you can pretty easily just go with the flow with just about any topic, and it doesn't have to turn into something weird. Well, that would be Yuri's answer. I think that would be the answer that I would give to Yuri and Monica, really. I think Sayori probably already has that mentality when she is, being socially active, and, her on the surface happy self. But yeah, this was a YouTube channel from, I think, back in 2008, 2009. And yeah, the videos were pretty entertaining, just because they were trying to think of just really silly but still successful ways to talk to, and again, not just women, but also just strangers in general. They were trying to show people it's not that hard to get dates, it's not that hard to make new friends, and yeah, it was a pretty good message to send people. I can talk for hours about the things that I'm into. Unfortunately, so much that I don't know when to stop. But for anything else, I just have no idea what to say. So I understand that about myself. I'm just not good with people. I can't help it. So it feels like whenever I'm confronted with a new social situation, I'm either ignored or made fun of or taken pity on. So asparagus, huh? Well, Sam, maybe that would be a little bit too forward. But actually, you know, even if you just, if you started talking to somebody and then a few sentences in, you just, even if you did just ask something like, hey, so do you like asparagus? Or something like that, then it could probably work. And Sayori falls into that third category. She, what? Hold on, you're saying that Sayori is taking pity on you? Yuri nods. Thanks for the lemon, Avon. I just want to be treated like a normal person. If you don't like me or don't connect with my interests, then just tell me. I can accept that and move on. Sayori is too nice to me. I'm so stupid for not realizing she would just go along with whatever I pushed on her. Nobody deserves to put themselves through that kind of discomfort just because they pity some weirdo who doesn't know how to make friends. Oh my god, Yuri is overthinking this so hard. It's the worst feeling. I hate it. Well, I do understand that. I do understand where Yuri's coming from there. I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, that when people, that one of the things that just annoys the hell out of me is when people unnecessarily worry about me, or people unnecessarily feel like they have to do things for me. Even if I know they mean well, it just kind of, like, internally, I just think, what, do these people think I'm a child? Like, I can't handle myself? I don't show them that I'm annoyed by it, because I know that they mean well and they're just trying to, you know, they're just trying to be nice. But I don't know. That's just the thing that annoys me, when people show concern for me beyond what I view as rational or necessary. So I can kind of feel where Yuri's coming from there. Yuri's sharp words cut through the tense air. Somewhere in the middle of the conversation, the two stopped short in the hallway, prioritizing the conversation over their original task. Monica looks at Yuri. Yuri only looks down with her fists clenched. Whoa, is she angry? I think you should tell her that. I could never say that to someone's face. It's pathetic. Sayori is different. Making people happy is the most important thing to her. I'm sure that's all she's trying to do. So if you're able to explain to her what makes you happy, then she'll do anything to make it happen. That's the problem. What kind of friendship has one person always trying to cater to the other person's weird needs? I'm sorry, I'm making myself sound so... No, I think I'm starting to understand. Monica hesitates to finish her thought out loud. It's something that Sayori would be able to say better. Sayori is someone who will give anyone however much kindness they need in order to smile. But Yuri, who has difficulty accepting kindness, must be driving Sayori to be even more assertive in her kindness, further exacerbating the matter. Neither person is to blame, but it's an issue that can't be resolved without them understanding each other better. Sayori wants to be your friend, I promise that. It's okay for different people to have different needs. I mean, Sayori, she has her own needs too, but good friends work together and can be what they need for each other. You just have to have good communication and talk about it. I don't have good communication. Yuri stops and then shakes her head. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. My head is just, it's so resistant to everything. I'm pushing such a kind person away from me because of it. Yuri pauses to think. I'm so tired of this cycle I'm creating for myself. I think I'm so afraid of people pushing me away that I just push them away first. That's a problem some people have. How thoughtless and immature of me. Yuri takes a deep breath and exhales. I didn't mean for this to turn into a whole venting session, but I understand now that I just need to communicate with her. Haha, you're totally fine. It's for the club, remember? You're just helping make the club a better place for everyone. Yeah. Yuri falls silent again. She looks like she wants to say something. This kind of critical thinking is something I'm really bad at. You know, about people. So, thank you. Anytime. Monica smiles at Yuri. Just for a moment, Yuri finds it in herself to meet Monica's gaze, returning a shy smile of her own. So now they're gonna have the talk, right? Yuri and Monica finish replacing the old flyers with the new ones, and Sayori still has not seen either of them. That was not a smart move. More accurately, Monica did most of the work while Yuri followed along, but as the clubroom once again draws near, so does Yuri's confrontation. I can't do this. Yes, you can. It'll be great. Yuri sighs and shakes her head. I'm never going to feel confident enough. I just have to do it. If I don't do it now, I never will. Yuri starts towards the door, but then turns to face Monika. You're not just going to wait outside, are you? I can take a walk. Want me to get you a coffee or something? Actually, I prefer tea. I like to make my own, though, so please don't worry about it. Although I suppose that's one downside of reading here in the club rather than at home. I don't get to drink tea while I'm reading, so I guess that has nothing to do with this. You know, now that you mention it, I bet we could get permission to keep stuff for tea in the classroom. You can use, like, an electric kettle to heat up water, right? Would that really be possible? I'll look into it. I think it would be great. Yuri smiles and nods at the thought. Well, I'll be back in a bit. Good luck. Monika waves at Yuri, then turns around and departs down the hallway as Yuri's smile fades once more. She's gonna go in there, Sayori's gonna be really, really sad. A moment of daydreaming about tea isn't enough to save her from the anxiety of the task that lies before her, but it must be done. Taking one more deep breath, Yuri timidly opens the clubroom door. Alright, Sayori. Yuri? Wait, hold on, I'm not done yet. Sayori shuffles a bunch of papers around. Yuri stammers, her words suddenly caught in her throat. Okay, I guess Sayori's not sad about it. At that moment, she realizes how Sayori has been spending her afternoon. I wasn't expecting you to come today. I was really hoping to make it all the way through the next chapter first, but I got most of the way through it. And look! Sayori holds up a sheet of paper. It's a page of notes, beautifully produced with indentations, categories, and even color coding. As Yuri sees it, her expression shifts from anxiety to despair. I was afraid you were getting disappointed in me, so I've been trying really hard. Stop. Sayori presses her fists against her forehead. Please stop. I can't take this. Yuri? Sayori's voice quivers in shock after having received the exact opposite response she was expecting. I'm sorry. Sayori looks away in guilt. Did I do something wrong? I don't understand. So if I did something wrong, please tell me. Yuri shakes her head. No. It's me. I keep putting myself in these situations where people are afraid to treat me normally. If you don't like this kind of reading, it's okay. Please just tell me. I don't need to be treated differently just because I'm weird. But I don't treat you differently. I just want my friends to be happy, so I thought that if we did something together that you really like, I don't want your pity. Why did I do that? Oh no. Yuri sinks to her knees, her voice squeaks. I'm sorry. Tears of guilt and self-loathing begin to stream down her face. This isn't how it was supposed to go. Why is it so hard just to articulate your thoughts? Why do you end up pushing everyone away from you? By the way, is Yuri supposed to be talking here? Because this is just a regular narrative text box. I think this is supposed to be Yuri speaking. Yuri's mind pounds with internal accusations as she shuts her eyes, unable to face Sayori or the rest of the world. She should leave, just escape from here before Monika sees her like this, and before Sayori tells Monika what she did. But before Yuri can put any strength into her legs, she feels a warm pair of arms gently wrap around her from behind. It's okay. Sayori whispers in a soothing voice. It's okay. By the way, I know that... I'm going to share with y'all something pretty funny. I know that this is supposed to be like a tender moment, but this is one of the pictures that was on the website that I showed in a YouTube video about a week ago. And my girlfriend, you guys have seen her. She hasn't been on the channel for a while, but yes, she and I are still going out. She watched that video later, like she came to visit and she watched the video and she saw this picture and as soon as she saw this picture, she immediately asked, are they lesbians? And I just thought that was, I don't know why, but just hearing my girlfriend ask that question from seeing this picture, for some reason that just was really, really funny to me. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Overcome by despair, Yuri finds herself unable to protest or pull away from Sayori's kind gesture. Yuri sniffles, breathing heavily through a clenched throat, trying with all her willpower to control herself. I understand. I understand the things you're feeling in your head are different from the things you're trying to say. I know that must be what you're feeling right now. I promise, I understand that. So, I'll give you as much time as you need. When you're ready, just tell me your feelings and we'll talk about them together, okay? Yuri sniffles again and nods her head. She gives herself a minute to compose her thoughts, then speaks while steadying her voice. I think that I've gotten so used to people just being weirded out by me that it feels like anyone who's nice to me is just doing it out of pity. I'm so horrible with people. So it makes me not want to believe that someone can actually like me for who I am. Looks like MC is going to be stuck with Natsuki. Yuri pauses, but Sayori doesn't interrupt. Rather, she waits for Yuri to continue. I got so excited when I joined the literature club. I thought that it was finally my chance to make friends through my interests. Because my interests are the only things I know how to talk about. It's all I have going for me. But then whenever I catch myself getting overly obsessive in front of other people, it feels like I'm making a fool of myself. I hate myself for it. Ultimately, I just want to be treated like a normal person, but how am I supposed to expect that when I can't behave like one? I just want to learn how to get along with people and stop ruining things for myself. That's all. Yuri finishes her thoughts, feeling more steady after having gotten them out. Sayori, who can feel Yuri's breath rise and fall from beneath her arms, realizes that as well. Thank you for helping me understand you a little bit better. You know, you were so great at helping me while we were reading, so I'll help you with the things that you need too. But I feel like it would just be frustrating for you with how much patience I require sometimes. That sounds kind of familiar. I couldn't stop worrying about that while we were reading. I was so afraid you would get frustrated with me, but I would never do that. I did my best to reassure you by mentioning how I have a lot of patience. So their eyes keep changing. So Satchely did a lot of work on these. Yeah, I know, but my irrational fears just won't be quiet sometimes. I'm sure it's the same for you, right? Yeah, irrational fears. Phobias. Well, you know, there's no way that you could frustrate me because I already like you as the person that you are. I know you said you have a hard time believing that, but I promise it's true. You don't have to be a social person for people to like you. I think you're really considerate in your own way, you know? Worrying so much about people's feelings. We're all kind of weird. It's a literature club. Satchely didn't make these extra ones? Isn't Satchely the main artist? But it's the best part that we're all different and have different ideas. Huh. Okay, interesting. Scoo-chan? Never heard of them. Like, about the book. I'm reading it because I want to, I promise. That's what I really want. It's a bit of a struggle, but try not to mistake that for me not enjoying it. I mean, we could never discover new things if we didn't try them first, right? I want to learn the reasons that you love it so much. And in the end, if it's not for me, then I can say that. But I'll be glad that I tried it and learned more about you. Plus, you're like super duper smart, and I want that to rub off on me. Haha. Yuri fights back a smile at that comment. Already, the heavy atmosphere surrounding her seems to have evaporated through the caress of Sayori's arms. Yep, bring on the fanfics with that comment. Your hair... Really? Your hair is so pretty, Sayori said as she closed her eyes with her arms still wrapped around Yuri. I always wanted long hair, but I was awful at taking care of it, so I cut it all off. Well, Meta Sayori has long hair, but we all know that's because Meta Sayori, who is 21 years old, has matured as a person. So she's a little better at it. Yuri's tension relaxes. For once, she feels okay just listening, rather than worrying so much about saying the right thing. Sayori, sensing Yuri's comfort, lets her rest. It must be so difficult for her to feel relaxed around other people. But if the literature club can make it happen, then it's something that she deserves to experience. Well, ain't that nice? Well then, based on my understanding of your feelings, I suppose I wouldn't mind if we were to continue reading. Hehe. That's what I wanted to hear, but we can stop at any time. If you truly don't like it, please be honest about it. I won't be offended. Of course! I'm not going to judge anything this early on, though. So we'll just see what happens. Oh, and, it's not good to touch people without their... Damn, Yuri. Really? Really? Okay. Wow. Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. She clearly didn't. She clearly was not uncomfortable. Wow, just... I mean, okay, yeah, they're really trying to make Yuri out to be, like, very antisocial here. Oh, you didn't. I mean, I suppose it was kind of nice. I was just saying. Wow, Yuri. Way to make it awkward. I'm back. Monika's back. I haven't seen you, like, at all recently. Sayori trots over to Monika. Ah, she whispers loudly. Can I hug you? Sure, Sayori. Sayori wraps her arms around Monika. Oh yeah, Yuri, it might be good to know. Sayori can be kind of a hug monster. Hey, don't call me a monster. Artemis is a monster. If he inherits the kingdom, it could spell disaster. Haha. Yuri laughs. Monika perplexedly looks between the two of them, then smiles. Well, I'm glad you've been enjoying your reading so far. Looks like our first real activity as the literature club. About that. Well, you've been so patient with exploring my interests. I think that it would be inconsiderate of me not to return the favor of you and learn about the things that you like. Yes! Do you like poetry? Yuri smiles. Was that it? Yep, that was it. Alright, so we got a picture. Alright, picture of Sayori with a bunch of post-its. Looks like she's thinking and writing in a pretty little book there. Anything else? Oh, yeah. This very fanficky CG of, or fanficky drawing / CG of Sayori and Yuri. Seriously. First thing my girlfriend asked when she saw that picture in the video, are they lesbians? Alright. So that's another one down. So that's that side story done. So we've got, man, 4 more to do here, huh? Okay, one thing I want to do. I want to take a look at those titles that we saw last time. So that we can look out for the music that we're trying to find. Yeah, Avon sent a guide as a DM. But you said that you sent me one that doesn't have spoilers. So let's take a look at that one. So give me a moment here, guys. Avon really did some digging on this. Oh, okay. A track name listed in track 6. Name ID as text is a real audio track in the game's music player. A file path is also known. Set your time to the track length time. Ah, interesting. Okay, so... Right, Yuri's words, 1 is a time. I think that was 1:15. Here we go, poem word. Sorry, 9:15. Let's look for that again. Yeah, 9:15, 130. Okay. So you guys that missed yesterday, you get to see a little bit about how this works. 130. We got meeting notes too, so we're going to change the time on the clock. We're going to change it to 9:15. And you guys can help me with this. You guys can help me keep track of all of the names of the music tracks. And we'll see if any of them have been unlocked yet. Yeah, he did do a lot of heavy lifting on this. Oh, 430, 123. Right, that was another one. Track 6 name ideas. Right. That was the one after this. So let's change this to 430. See what we can find here. Okay. So these are the names. Work together, discussion time, debate time, brainstorm, listen up, teamwork time, let's discuss, let's teamwork, I'll handle it, leader, take the lead. Oath, so 030 is the next one. And the time needs to be the music duration for whichever one of these is a real music track. So I'm trying to also get as many of these in my head as possible. And then let's see if any of these have actually been unlocked. So I got to remember that. 1, 2, 3 is how we get back to track 6. So it doesn't look like any of these match what we saw in that list, which means we need to watch more side stories. Alright, so I guess we'll keep doing them in order. So the next one that we would have to do is respect. Ah, Avon knows the name. He just doesn't want to spoil anything. Alright. It's been several weeks since the club has officially started. Through their initial setbacks, the 3 club members so far, Monica, Sayori, and Yuri, have increased their collective bond within the club. Well, that's nice. Judging from the picture, it looks like this is when Natsuki is going to enter the picture. Excuse me, y'all. Sayori has partaken in some of Yuri's high fantasy literature, and all 3 of them, led by Sayori, have taken an interest in poetry. On a day like any other, the 3 find themselves suddenly interrupted by the clubroom door opening. And in walks a girl none of them have seen before. Hi. Sayori tugs excitedly at Monica's sleeve. Yuri shifts in her seat and buries her eyes in her book. Are you here for the literature club? Yeah. Yay, that's great. Thanks for stopping by. It's kind of a small club still, so it's really exciting to see new faces. Yeah. Come and sit down somewhere. You can sit next to my desk. Sayori prances over to her desk and presses her palms onto it. Oh, and Yuri can make you some tea. Yuri looks up at Sayori in protest for having drawn attention to her. Natsuki silently glances between everyone and then sits down next to Sayori. Monica follows by sitting nearby. The sudden gatherings prompts Yuri to stand up, deciding that standing in the corner and making tea doesn't sound so bad after all. Okay, then how about we all introduce ourselves? Okay. Well, I'm Monica, the one who started the club. I was originally in the debate club, but I really wanted to do something I felt more passionate about, if that makes sense. So I started the literature club as a way for people to express themselves through writing or reading or whatever other kinds of literature. You know, I figured it was your club. You have that vibe. I have what vibe? Oh, you know, like, never mind. I'm not gonna judge people I just met like that. Really, Natsuki? I thought that was kind of your forte. Very adult-like of you. I always judge people so hard. Oh no, you don't, Sayori. Yes, she does. Yuri's deadpan voice carries across the room. Natsuki giggles. I'm Sayori. I just like learning about everyone and making friends. Oh, and I also like poetry. Oh yeah? Very adult-like of you. Heh. I'm an adult. The sound of Yuri's electric kettle steaming up fills the room. Oh, that's Yuri. Sayori lowers her voice. She's kind of shy, but she's really nice and super smart. She likes big fantasy books and tea, and I love her. Well, I guess that leaves me then. I'm Natsuki. I like listening to music and hanging out downtown and stuff. And my favorite ice cream flavor is strawberry. Ooh, let's get ice cream. My favorite flavor is probably cookie dough or maybe chocolate. It's cookie dough. And Monica's is probably vanilla. What the heck? I take way too many online quizzes. The ice cream ones are always accurate. What's Yuri's favorite? Natsuki shrugs. Probably green tea. I'm just joking. I have no idea for Yuri. Still, it's pretty chill here. Do you just like hang out or do you actually do club stuff? Well, we do club stuff too. It just hasn't been very structured yet since we only have like 3 members, so we kind of just loosely spend our time doing the stuff we like. But I keep thinking it's about time we start with like some more structured club activities. It's been a while by now since I started the club, so yeah. Well, with that being said, what kind of literature are you into, Natsuki? Anything you'd like the club to get into? Well, I guess I'm... literature. Well, I like manga. Manga? Hey, why'd you say it like that? I want to read manga in the club. Wait, hold on a second. That sounds so great. Like, after all, I've been doing all this, Yuri returns to the desks with a tray of teacups, which she sits down on an empty desk. After all of the deep and immersive reading I've been doing, I wouldn't mind doing something a little more simple. Manga isn't simple. If you think that, you just don't understand the nuance. I didn't mean simple like that. Well, anyway, putting manga aside, is there any other kind of literature that you're interested in? Well, not really. In that case, have you considered the anime club? Damn, Monica, just shut her out. Are you serious? I'm not gonna join the anime club. Okay, here comes the reason as to why. It's full of weird guys. Yep. Saw that one coming. Come on, is it that big of a deal? Manga is literature, right? I mean, I guess if you consider the literal definition of literature, then technically, I get it. Look, I'll do whatever club activities you want. Can I please just join? I won't bother anyone. If I can just, like, keep my manga here and hang out after school, I'll do literally whatever you want me to do. Damn. She really doesn't want to go home. That's fine, right? Yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Oh my god, thank you. You're the best. I have most of it crammed into my locker, so I'm gonna start getting it, okay? Natsuki stands up. Need some help? Nah, I got it. I don't want you to see my locker. Narrator, but alas, the structured club activities would never come. Yep. If you say so, but there's no way it's worse than mine. I hope we never find out then. Natsuki exits the club room, leaving everyone in silence, save for the sound of Yuri sipping her tea. I'm such a pushover. Hey, it's not that bad. Natsuki seems like a lot of fun. Maybe, but I mean, she has like no actual interest in literature, you know? Wow. And that's normally fine, but she said she would participate in club activities like it's some kind of obligation. Her tea is gonna get cold. Yeah. Wait, that's not related. Well, I think everyone deserves a chance, especially if we can bring her happiness. Besides, maybe she'll take a liking to literature. Are you sure you don't just want to read manga? To read her manga, Sayori? Hey, who do you think I am? Sorry, I didn't mean like that. I just feel really uneasy about this. Do you have any opinion, Yuri? Not particularly. She said she wasn't going to bother anyone. That includes me, so does that mean I bother you? No, you're a pleasure to be around. I was just fishing for a compliment. I know. But still, I really think we should give her a chance. Yeah, alright. But I really am going to start enforcing club activities. I'm willing to cooperate. Suddenly, the 3 of them hear a thump against the door. What was that? Sayori stands up and walks over to the door, then opens it. Thank you. Carrying 3 boxes of what is presumably manga, Natsuki grunts and wobbles inside before slowly bending over and dropping the stack onto the floor as gently as she can. That's quite a collection. Sayori giggles in excitement. While catching her breath, Natsuki replies, "There's still 1 more box. I can put them away myself. I know how to organize them." Monica anxiously glances between Sayori and Yuri. Is this really okay for the club? Maybe it's what she needs to really kick the club into gear before everyone gets too complacent. It seems like things are finally going to start getting more serious. At the next club meeting, Monica is the first to arrive. But ever since Natsuki joined, she feels a lot less relaxed. Why am I so nervous? Monica Pace is trying to figure out her feelings. Natsuki said she wasn't going to bother anyone, so why does it feel like the atmosphere has changed so much? While Monica thinks, the club door opens, revealing Natsuki carrying a box. Monica forces a smile as Natsuki makes her way to the closet. Natsuki forces one in return. Need help? No, I got it. Monica awkwardly tries to start some kind of conversation, but fails. Curiously, she peeks into the closet where Natsuki is stashing all her manga. Once dull with school supplies, the shelves are now vibrant with bright colors and cute-looking artwork. You know, the top shelf's pretty empty. Maybe we could keep it up there. I can't reach up there. That would be so inconvenient. Yeah, but the teachers are gonna ask what all this manga is doing here, and I have to tell them it's for the literature club. So? Monica backs off and slumps into a desk. Yeah, Monica. With this kind of tension, it feels like the relaxed atmosphere accumulated over the past few weeks is being sucked up right out of the room. Good afternoon. Sayori spins into the club room. Oh, I see someone's in a good mood. Yeah, because I have this. Sayori brandishes a cookie wrapped in plastic. I found some money and got... Found? You found some money and got a cookie? Did Sayori steal that from somebody? Did she just stole somebody's money that was sitting on a table somewhere? Ooh, that's so pretty. As Sayori trots over to the closet, the colorful shelves catch her eye. Which one do I start with? Well, you can start by giving me a bite of that cookie. No way. I saved up all my luck to find that money. If you want entry into my kingdom, you need to pay the tax, peasant. Boo. Defeated, Sayori unwraps her cookie and breaks off a piece for Natsuki. I don't know. That'd be a bad deal for me. Then Yuri silently walks into the club room. Monica glances at her with pleading eyes. Yuri returns a quick nod of understanding. Well, everyone's here now. Despite the club only having one more person than before, it somehow feels twice as lively. Okay, so I think today we should go over some potential club activities and see which ones we can do first. We have 4 members now, so it would be great if we found some stuff to do as a group. Does that sound good to everyone? I agree. Okay, so I have some ideas of my own, but I want to hear your ideas too. Well, I've been having a lot of fun learning about everyone's interests. Maybe we can give each person a day to share their favorite kind of literature with everyone else. Well, maybe. Something tells me that Monica glances at Yuri and Natsuki, who both appear very unwilling to even consider each other's interests. Maybe we can try and come up with something that everyone can enjoy equally. You know, like we all vote on a book to read or something like that. I think we should all collectively try to expand our interests rather than just stick to the things we're familiar with. Why does it feel like I'm being targeted here? Natsuki, didn't you say you would go along with whatever the club wanted you to do? Well, yeah, but that doesn't make it okay for you to ignore everyone else's preferences. I liked Sayori's suggestion. Yeah, me too. Yeah, but, Monica's voice trails off. Man, they really... I feel like Monica is more unwilling to take a stance than she should be. Like, I get it in the original game that kind of hinted that, well, I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense because she would be more confident in the original game since she knows she has powers and she knows about the game. But okay, so yeah, I retract it. It does make sense. She doesn't have powers. She doesn't know that this is a game, so I guess this makes a little bit more sense. It fits the narrative a bit better. Although she let Natsuki join the club, Monica finds it incredibly difficult to relent to her demands. If Natsuki doesn't respect the club, why should Monica have to yield to Natsuki's opinion on anything? Natsuki, are you sure that you don't have any other literature interests that you would share with this club? I swear I don't mind if you keep your manga here, but Natsuki cuts Monica off by suddenly standing up. Well, it's obvious that I'm not wanted here, so I'm just gonna leave. Okay, Natsuki, I didn't realize you were turning into Yuri here, but I really would have appreciated you being more upfront about it. Damn, really? Okay, I think you're kind of jumping to conclusions here, but you're free to do whatever you want. Natsuki shoots Monica a quick glare before walking straight out of the room. That was a very Yuri move there. Oh no. Sayori runs after her, leaving just Monica and Yuri. Haha, just Monica and Yuri. For the second time today, Monica slumps down into a desk. Why am I such a jerk? Now Monica's turning into Yuri. No, well, Monica's turning into Sayori, actually. No, she's a jerk. She's just making me feel this way. And now Monica's turning into Natsuki. Monica looks up. No, Monica's turning into Natsuri. She's turning into Natsuri from the non-meta meta series. Monica looks up to Yuri seeking affirmation. Yuri looks away. She probably just went around looking for the smallest club so she could find so she doesn't have to participate. How does she expect me to give her respect when she has no respect for the club? You've known this girl for less than a day, Monica. Chill out. Am I wrong, Yuri? I'm not good at these things. Monica sighs. Me neither. I just have no idea what to do. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I feel like it's not wrong to enforce the club vision. I mean, no, it's not. But, well, honestly, Natsuki overreacted there. And now Monica's overreacting to her overreaction. Like, I don't know. In Monica's situation, I've probably been like, geez, she's kind of sensitive, isn't she? You know, like, people should join because they want to express their passion for literature, or at least develop it, so maybe she's not a good fit for the club after all. Monica sits in silence, afraid to accept her tentative decision. Yuri looks tense, but she doesn't seem to want to add anything. You can go back to reading. I know this doesn't concern you. It does. It does? How? Well, I just can't comfortably read in an atmosphere where the peace has been disturbed. Oh. Well, great. I'm just ruining the whole club then. Oh, Monica, you have such a different vibe than you did in the original game. Because, I mean, in the original game, Monica was like the only secure one. Now it seems like everybody is insecure, almost beyond believability. That's not an accurate conclusion to make. I know, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of voicing my frustration and, I guess, guilt. It's like my frustration wants to blame her, but my guilt wants to blame me. Okay, well, yeah, not sorry. There you go. Why is it the hardest to be rational during the times you need it the most? I don't think you're being irrational. I think Natsuki is. I mean, that's a typical thing for vanilla Yuri to think. She has no authority to walk in here and make demands of the club, your club. Well, she wasn't really making demands. She was siding with Sayori on what her idea was, and Sayori's the vice president. Now I think Yuri is she's playing up what Natsuki was actually doing a little bit. Natsuki's overreaction to Monica saying, hey, I don't think we're going to do that, was a little too strong, but I think it's also too strong to say that she was just coming over here and trying to make demands. So I think everybody's just kind of overreacting here. Something as ridiculous as manga has no... Okay. Alright, so this is where the seeds of discontent between Yuri and Natsuki begin to develop. The fact that you're even storing it for her should make her completely indebted to you. That's, I don't know, that's too strong. Well, you're right, but she is? No, she's not entirely right. She's taking what would be right to a pretty extreme level, I would say. I don't know, isn't it kind of harsh to say things like it's ridiculous and it has no place here? Yeah? Do you not feel the same? You've been doing everything you can to avoid associating it with the club. No, she hasn't. So I assumed you felt the same way about it. Yuri, you are projecting right now. Monica hasn't been, you know, on this... hasn't been on some quest to keep manga out of the club. That's not true. Exactly! Yuri is projecting. Well, recalling her confrontations with Natsuki, a realization starts to set in. What confrontations? You may be right. No, she is not. What are you calling a confrontation here? I mean, if it was anything besides manga, would I really be acting like this? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything from Monica that suggests that she totally just hates the idea of manga being in the club room. Maybe I've just been convincing myself that it has nothing to do with the manga. I'm really upset that I would let myself do that. With a sigh, Monica walks over to the closet. She finds herself staring at the colorful shelves. It's just this really wasn't what I had in mind for a club about literature. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. Monica starts defending her position once again. It's a complicated issue that Monica has failed to consider before now. Had failed to consider before now. Where is the line even drawn at what's considered literature? Lost in thought, she reaches into one of the larger box sets and pulls out a volume, inspecting it for no particular reason. The cover features 4 girls striking cute and exaggerated poses, all dressed in short skirts. Would this be Parfait Girls? Yeah, I mean, amused by the absurdity of the cover, Monica opens the book. Alright, so there's side story number 1 done. I don't know. Some of that seemed pretty exaggerated to me, like some of their reactions, I mean. I don't know, I don't want to... I mean, I have 2 theories about this. Either that particular side story was rushed a bit, or it was intentionally written that way to sort of fit the typical, well, how do I put the typical exposition of this kind of story, where it's like, oh yes, there's a life lesson involved, but it's just kind of but there doesn't seem to be much development of said life lesson. They just kind of throw it at you with no real subtlety or no real time to build. It's just kind of there. And then the way that it works out happens just as quickly as and unsubtly as the problem itself. I don't know. It just seems to me like, yeah, some of these are just like the theme or the story itself, the transition of the acts within the story arc seem just a tiny bit rushed. Not incredibly rushed, just a tiny bit rushed. Anyway, just give me a second to rest my voice, drink some more of this energy drink so I can keep talking. What time is it right now? We've been at this for about an hour and a half. All right, so respect part 2. This sucks. Why is Monica such a jerk? She should be grateful that I even joined her stupid club. It's not like she can find any members. Well, now Natsuki is just being an entitled asshole, because Natsuki was the one who came to the club and said, hey, please let me join. I'll do whatever you want. So, I mean, you got that backwards, Natsuki. She was the one doing you a favor by letting you join. So you're the asshole here. Monica is usually really nice. She wasn't not nice in the previous scene. She was actually being reasonable until Natsuki left. Then she kind of overreacted to her leaving. She cares so much about everyone in the club being happy. Yeah, right. Well, she usually does. What? Why is Sayori going against Monica too here? I don't get it. Maybe when she's not busy being so judgmental. How is she judgmental? So what if I'm into manga? Why can't just one person accept that instead of being so condescending about it? I accept it. I think it's cute. Oh, come on. That's condescending too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I just want to support you. Natsuki sighs. I know. Thanks. It just really sucks. Do you want me to talk to Monica? I don't know. It's not like it's going to change her opinion of me. Like, even if you were to convince her to back off, that wouldn't suddenly make me feel like I'm actually welcome in the club. Natsuki, this is your second day here, and your first day only lasted for about 10 minutes because it was time to go. Again, just saying, it feels like they're coming to these conclusions a little too quickly. I should just find another club. Wait, you don't have to do that. We can figure this out, please. I mean, I'm the vice president, or at least I think I... What do you mean you think you are? She said you're the vice president. And I don't want you to leave. Everyone deserves to feel welcome and to be happy, so I want to make that happen for you. I was wondering, what was the reason that you decided to join the literature club? Well, Natsuki hesitates, it's kind of dumb. Ah, don't say that. There's no such thing as a dumb reason when everyone is welcome. I wasn't welcome. Well, you were to me, so... Just don't tell anyone, okay? Especially Monica, I promise. I'm just tired of everyone judging me all the time. I can't enjoy any of the stuff I'm into without people making snotty comments about it. Not that I care about what anyone thinks, but you know, the signs for the literature club so that you can be yourself or whatever, so I decided it was at least worth a shot, but that was a lie apparently. I'm not gonna make broken record comments. I've already said what I need to say. Natsuki dejectedly kicks the toe of her shoe against the wall. Oh, and I like writing too. Really? How come you didn't say that to Monica? Because she was being so judgmental that I didn't just want to tell her something she wanted to hear. She didn't deserve that kind of satisfaction. And if I knew, if she knew I was into writing, then she would just be like everyone else and try to push me away from the manga in favor of the more mature thing. The two of them remained silent for a while. Sayori understands that it's out of the question for Natsuki to return to the club room for today at least, but Natsuki has a reason for wanting to join the club just like everyone else. It's part of the club vision for her to be welcome. You deserve to express yourself as much as everyone else does. That's supposed to be what the club is for. So, I'm going to do everything I can to fix this. I promise. It's lunchtime the next day. The cafeteria and hallways are bustling with students rushing to meet with their friends and make the most out of their limited time break. Where could she be? Among them is Monika, who always eats lunch in her classroom, but she has some additional business today. Fearing Natsuki would avoid coming to the club, Monika decided to try to find her during lunch so that she can make amends. After searching for an extensive time, Monika finally spots her. Despite her short stature, Natsuki's bright hair helps her stand out from the crowd. Oh gosh. Suddenly feeling awkward, Monika is afraid to get closer. Natsuki is with some friends whom Monika doesn't recognize, and they're all energetically chatting together. It would be really tactless to just interrupt them. Okay, so we're not getting any new sprites, just black figures apparently. Oh yeah, did you end up joining that literature club or what? Huh? Of course I joined. Why wouldn't I? Ha, I told you she would join. Haha, come on. You know she only joined because you wouldn't stop giving her crap about the anime club. I told you I never even wanted to join that stupid club. Oh, sure. Well, you have to give her some credit for at least making an effort to finally grow past that trash. So this is actually, this matches the description that Natsuki, or that Monika gave about Natsuki's friend in the original game, or friends in the original game. She would talk about, while you're in the space classroom, about how Natsuki's friends would basically pick at each other and try to one-up each other, and this matches that, so good attention to detail. Ha, true. Well, congrats on finally graduating middle school, Natsuki. We're proud of you. Shut up, just let me do my thing. I'm just joking, you know we love you. Yeah, once the literature club makes you a famous writer, we'll be the first ones to buy your book. What, you're gonna buy her smutty fanfiction? Smutty fanfiction, wow. Natsuki doesn't seem the type. Well, obviously, I want a signed copy. That was like years ago. You don't think I've grown out of it by now? Okay, so when Natsuki was younger, she did write smutty fanfiction, apparently. I told you I was joking. Besides, it's a good reminder of how far you've come since then. Not to mention you couldn't have done it without us. That gives us a pass to joke about it. Yeah, sure. They grow up so fast, it brings a tear to my eye. Natsuki suddenly glances in Monika's direction, prompting Monika to quickly turn away and distance herself. What the heck? That was horrible. I should have said something to defend her. Why do I have to be so conflict avoidant? Well, I think horrible is a bit too strong of a word. I mean, that wasn't nice, but horrible? I wouldn't call it that. I would just call that... I would call that light to medium ribbing. I mean, I've had friends that have said worse to me, and I didn't get upset about it. Like, you know, friends that have known each other for a long time, they rib on each other every so often. And while they did lay into her probably a little bit longer than typical friends would, just as we talked about before, I mean, Monika pointed out in the original game that Natsuki's friends just did that sort of thing to her. But yeah, horrible, bit too strong of a word, I think. Not that I deserve to say anything, I'm hardly better than them after the way I treated her. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm so awful. I'm not doing anything right. This is such a... I don't know. I guess it just annoys me how easy it is for these girls to get, you know, upset and feel guilty about stuff that's really not that big of a deal. After school ends, Monika distractedly makes her way to the club room. She finds Yuri already inside, eyes on a book as usual. Monika picks a desk and slumps into it, something she seems to be doing rather often lately. I do feel that it depends on the person. I assume Dan must not like ribbing. I mean, judging from his Twitter account, yeah, it seems like... Yeah, I was about to say that, actually, Avon. It seems like maybe Dan's a little bit more sensitive to that kind of thing than, you know, your average person. So, I guess that's a fair point. Sam, everyone is taking themselves so seriously in this prequel. Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of the problem. Monika picks, or I mean, I'm not going to call it a problem. I'm just going to say, to me, it's, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it annoys me, but I'm gonna say that it's a hard. That's the part of these prequels that currently it's very hard for me to digest. I guess would be the best way of putting it. But again, that's me personally. Other people might think that this is amazing. They may even say it's better than the original, and I don't think it's bad. I want to make it clear on that. I mean, I'd stop doing this if I thought it was bad, but I'm just saying, like, that one element is the thing that it's a little bit hard for me to swallow, or not swallow, but digest. Monica picks a desk and slumps into it, something she seems to be doing rather often lately. Yuri, I don't think I can be a... See what I mean? I don't think I can be a club president. I suck at handling anything that doesn't go, like, exactly my way. Yuri looks up from her book. It's like the literature club is a place where you get to express yourself, unless it's in a way that I don't like. I'm so mad at myself. And I'm especially mad that I didn't have the self-reflection skills to realize what I was doing. So much for maturity. Good lord. You know what you do in that scenario, Monica? Honestly, I think that you're being way too harsh on yourself for, you know, your little... you can't even really call it a spat or a conflict with Natsuki. It was hardly that at all. But, you know, if you do have to call it that, then you know what you do? You learn your lesson from it. You don't beat yourself up about it, because that's a terrible way to move on from it. You just learn from it, you make amends, and then you move on. That's how you grow as a person. I mean, I guess one reason I find it... another reason I find it particularly annoying is that throughout my life I've known people like this, where, you know, they have something they don't like about themselves, but instead of actively trying to change a bad habit or some you know, a trait that they have that they don't particularly like, instead of actively working to change it, they just keep making the same mistake over and over and over, and instead of learning from it or fixing it, they just keep basically shitting on themselves, saying, oh, I'm such a terrible person, I'm so immature, why does anybody put up with me? And then, you know, they have their little self-pity session, and then they go right back to making those same mistakes again. And I just think, for a real person to do, that's just like the most annoying thing that I've ever seen somebody do. And so, I guess that's why that this is kind of irking me a little bit. Anyway. Sorry, I really shouldn't be complaining out like... See, again. Like, this is something that she said, sorry, I shouldn't be doing this before, too. So, it's... You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, I mean, this is doing the same thing over and over again and not learning anything from it, so... There's just, like, a lot on my mind. No. I enjoy listening. Really? Why? Yuri shrugs. It just makes me feel nice. Oh, well, okay, I guess I'll just continue then. Yuri nods. Yeah. Well, Natsuki has kind of a blunt attitude, you know? It made me feel like she wasn't taking the club seriously. I couldn't even figure out why she wanted to join. I saw her friends talking to her in the hallway during lunch, and they were just so mean to her. They were not that mean. They were a little bit mean. They were not so mean to her. Telling her to grow up and stuff like that. That the literature club would help her grow out of manga. When I was in college, my friends would sometimes give me shit for things that are kind of funny. They're frustrating to me. Like, one thing that is frustrating to me, and yeah, I'll tell you this about myself. One thing that is kind of frustrating about me is that if I don't have a GPS, then I'm absolutely terrible with directions. And every time that I get lost when I have to go somewhere without using a GPS, even if I think I know the way and I get lost, it is one of the most infuriating things ever for me. And when I was in college, my friends would poke fun at me sometimes for that. I mean, would it hurt my feelings? A little bit, maybe, but not enough for me to be like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that to me. That's so mean. How dare you? I mean, I would just kind of shrug it off because, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, yeah, it's kind of funny. There was a time that I was trying to get to Charleston, Tennessee, and I almost wound up in Chattanooga just because I have a horrible sense of direction if I'm not using a GPS. Even if I think I know where I'm going and I wind up completely lost. Again, very frustrating to me, but I'm just not good with directions unless I have a GPS. And yeah, my friends, they would rip into me sometimes over that. And was it a little mean? Maybe sometimes. Was it so mean? No, not really. I just kind of shrugged it off and was like, yeah, I mean, you know, I suck with directions. What can you say? And I can say that, again, they were just a little mean, but what they would say to me about it was a lot meaner than what Natsuki was getting from her friends. So for Monika here to be saying that they were so mean to her, it's just, no, they weren't. No, they were not. It just made me so mad. Like, just let her enjoy it. It makes her happy. Why are you trying to take that away from her? You see what I mean? There's just, they're too sensitive about this. And again, you know, as you guys said, maybe that's because Dan Salvato himself is kind of sensitive to this sort of stuff. And, you know, the characters are going to reflect the author to a certain degree. So, I mean, yeah, that's fair. And when I had that thought, it was when I came to the realization that I was kind of doing the same thing, just in a roundabout way. No, you weren't. I should have made her feel good about being passionate about something, but I just dismissed it. No, I was actually trying to avoid acknowledging it at all. I even did that with you, Yuri, when you first joined the club. You did? See? Even Yuri is like, no, what are you talking about? You didn't do that. Yeah, I remember. Fantasy isn't really my thing, so I was kind of... No, you weren't! No, you weren't! Monika, I specifically remember. You were even the one that said to Yuri, fantasy is cool, I guess. It was Sayori, actually, being the one that said, like, books? Maybe that was a mistake, and it should have been the other way around, but no, I specifically remember, initially, Monika was the one who was more welcoming to the idea of reading fantasy. So this just makes no sense at all. I should have reflected on that, but I didn't, because I just let Sayori handle it instead. And that was a good move! Look how it turned out! And now I'm repeating the same mistake. What mistake? Especially, except I really hurt someone this time. Alright, I'm sorry, guys. I need to... Again, I'm not going to be a broken record about this. It's just some of the stuff that's happening here. It's like... It's just, why are they so sensitive? Anyway, Monika shakes her head. I'm so tired of being afraid of things I'm not comfortable with. It's so stupid. Like, I can just picture how much joy it would bring Natsuki if I let her share her passion a little. I'm so angry that her friends were treating her like that. I'm going to... You're gonna get them back for it? What? Oh god, where's this gonna go? Get them back? Yeah, I'll get them back by making sure that this is the literature club that Natsuki wants, not the one that they want. Alright, so that's Monika's motivation. She's gonna make this fantastic literature club to spite Natsuki's friends. Great motivation. Suddenly, Sayori bursts through the door, making Monika and Yuri jump. With a rare, stern face, she marches over to Monika's desk and sits down next to her. I'm having an intervention. I can do that because I'm vice president. Is this about Natsuki? Yes! Yeah, I know. I messed up. I'm super sorry. I was just talking to Yuri about it. Really? I was so dismissive of her passion that she felt threatened and probably just unwelcome. Literally the opposite of what the literature club is supposed to be. I really need to make it up to her. Oh. Yay, I did it. Haha, thanks for the intervention, Sayori. I'm glad we're on the same page. Friendship wins again. So how do you want to make it up to her? I have a plan. Sayori, do you know if Natsuki is coming to the club meeting today? I don't think she is. I see. Monika was afraid of that, not because of her plan, but because she's facing the consequences of the damage that she's inadvertently caused. But the only way to do the right thing is to face it head on. It's so easy to just duck away from conflict and wait for it to blow over. But that's not enough. To truly respect someone's feelings after you've hurt them is to face them and admit your wrongdoing. Not the wrongdoing of mismanaging the club, but the wrongdoing of disrespecting Natsuki's feelings. Okay, do you think you can get her to come to the meeting tomorrow? I can do that. Okay, awesome. Yuri, you don't have to worry about anything, but thank you for being my friend. You're a good listener. fidgeting with her hair. Yuri turns away to hide a smile. I don't know. I think if I was Yuri in that scene, I would, that whole time, I would have just been like, oh, you got a problem? Okay, tell me about it. It's like, oh, that's your problem? Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but, you know, just let me know if I can help. Yeah, no problem. Glad I could help. I feel like I barely did anything, but, yeah, good luck with that. But Yuri's, flattered. Well, I guess for today, it's going to be a pretty quiet club meeting. I'm going to step out for a bit. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm just going to read with Yuri. Hey, is this one of Natsuki's books? How come it's out here? Sayori picks up a manga that was resting on an adjacent desk. Oh, that? Natsuki probably just left it out by accident. But I thought she hasn't been coming to the club. Actually, Monika's been. Okay, Yuri, I'm sure it was just someone else who was using this classroom then, okay? You're going back on your word here, Monika. You said you were going to be more accepting of Natsuki's interests, and now you're going to hide the fact that you enjoyed reading Natsuki's manga? Why? Monika smiles at them both. Then, with a wave, she exits the club room. I really shouldn't have left that out. If Sayori catches on, she'll definitely tell Natsuki, and that would get really awkward. Why? Wouldn't it help what you're trying to do? Wouldn't you then be able to say, yeah, I read it, and you know what? I kind of liked it. So, yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to read more of it. The stuff is actually really cool. Then she would probably really like that and appreciate that. Maybe initially, because it's Natsuki, she'd be like, ha, see, it's not so dumb after all, is it? Bet you feel like an idiot. But then you could move past that, and you would have that thing that the two of you have in common and could enjoy together, similar to how Sayori and Yuri are enjoying the fantasy stuff. So, why? Now, I wonder if there's a keyboard I could borrow from the music room. She's going to play piano? The time for the next club meeting has already arrived. Monika and Yuri are the first to arrive. I'm so worried. Do you think Sayori is going to be able to bring Natsuki? Yes. How do you know? Well, she's Sayori. You know, you're right. Time slowly passes. Monika sits, then stands up to pace around, then sits again. Yuri's eyes don't move from her book. Then the door finally opens. Sayori marches inside. Behind her, Natsuki shuffles inside, nervously looking around the room. We're here! Welcome back. Monika, the club president, stands up and greets them with a smile. Sayori picks a desk and takes a seat. Natsuki sits closely next to her. Looking back and forth between the club members, Monika is struck with a nostalgic feeling. She would stand at the front of the club room just like this, struggling to picture just who may eventually be sitting before her. But imagination was never enough to predict just how unique and diverse each club member would be. Each with her own struggles, her own reasons for seeking the vision that Monika had admittedly so vaguely advertised. Seeking trust, understanding, respect. What new lessons will the future hold for the literature club? Realizing she's getting ahead of herself, Monika takes a deep breath and returns to the present. Okay, everyone, the literature club is starting. We have an activity planned for today. Monika turns around to face the chalkboard. On it, she writes, manga, in big letters. So now you're just overtly admitting that you're cool with manga. So why was it such a big deal for Sayori to let Natsuki know that you read some of her manga? Today we're going to learn from an expert about a unique form of literature, manga. Subtle, Monika. Very subtle. Again, if you're doing all this, I don't understand why it would have been a big deal for Sayori to let Natsuki know that you read some of her manga. Oh, come on. Isn't this kind of forced? Yes! I know you don't actually want to do this, so just Monika shakes her head. Natsuki, this is the hardest part. After making it this far, it would be so easy to just smile and move on. But that's not enough. Not this time. Just tell her you read it and you liked it and you want to talk about it some more. I'm sorry. It was wrong of me to not take you seriously when you were kind enough to show interest in my club. I thought about it and I realized how biased I was against manga. It caused me to disrespect you, and I'm sorry. You did not show that big of a bias. But I think you deserve to be able to share your passion with us, so can I make it up to you? Well, thanks, but I know you're only doing this because Sayori told you to. Wait, that's not true. Monica planned this all by herself. I didn't even get a chance to talk to her. I was witness to that as well. This is the Literature Club. The Literature Club is a place where everyone gets to be themselves. We all have our own interests and our own differences. It's my vision to let us freely express that. And it's my goal to respect everyone for them. So I just want to learn about the things that make you happy. I think that you deserve to share that joy as much as everyone else does. Is that okay? Natsuki looks away and hesitates. But it's really dumb, the stuff I'm into. Monica smiles. She kneels in front of Natsuki's desk, looks her straight in the eye. If you like it, then it's not dumb. Oh, except for me. Sayori, you're not dumb either. Ha, what the heck? You guys are so weird. Fine, I'll show you some of my manga. Only because you admitted that it's literature after all. You see, Natsuki saying you guys are so weird was actually meaner than anything Monica had said about manga. And what she said was even not really mean. Natsuki stands up. Oh yeah, I didn't say this before, but I'm actually into writing too. I'm kind of a pro. But I didn't want you to like me just for that. Wow, really? I really did have you all wrong, Natsuki. Yeah, whatever. Today's not about that anyway, right? It's about manga, so I hope you're ready. Alrighty. A week has passed since Natsuki returned to the Literature Club. Since then, the club activities have been in full swing. Each member had received a day in the spotlight to share all their favorite kinds of literature with each other. As another meeting draws to a close, Monica approaches Natsuki on the way out. Natsuki, are you in a hurry home or anything? Me? Not particularly. Why? Oh, there was just something I wanted to show you if you had a few minutes. Sure, what is it? It's not in here. Can you follow me to the music room? The music room? Why? Well, you'll see. You know, I was thinking back. When the club was just me and Sayori, we would talk about how we envisioned the club to turn out. We cared a lot about being a place where you could people could express themselves. And she said something strange to me. She said that I was trying to make the club that I needed for myself more than anyone, but I think it wasn't until you joined that I finally understood that, because you really taught me a lot about myself, like things that I was probably always too stubborn to admit. Oh, come on, you can't mean that. I didn't even do anything. I just brought a bunch of manga, and then I got fussy when I didn't have my way. Well, yeah. It was really stupid of me to make such a big deal out of it. Well, yeah. No, I honestly needed it. If you didn't express that you were hurt, I never would have realized that I did something wrong. Did you do anything wrong? Besides, your feelings are valid. They deserve to be heard and respected. It's just really hard to feel that way sometimes. You know, like, I really shouldn't care what other people think in the first place. But when you're just criticized by everyone around you for being a certain way, it can get really hard to just brush it off. And it makes me start to feel like I'm the problem. Like I'm not doing enough to please everyone. Well, since when does Natsuki care about that? Am I being too entitled if I just want people to like me without having to hide a bunch of stuff about myself? Well, with the want people to like me part, maybe a little, but there's a difference between liking and respecting. Like, even if somebody doesn't particularly like your interests, they can still leave you alone about it. Like, it is a little bit entitled to say that somebody should like you no matter what. Like, oh, even if they, like you... Like, people are not entitled to be praised by other people, but they are entitled to being able to live their life. So, you don't have to like somebody, but you should... But unless they are infringing on your rights as a person or your safety, then... Or anybody else's rights or safety, then you should be able to just respect them. So maybe, I think like is probably a bad choice of word here, unless they're trying to make exactly that point. I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I am. I just wish that sometimes people would try to appreciate me for who I actually am. Well, again, appreciation, again, I think that saying they should like me and they should appreciate me, I think those are the wrong words. Like, because there's a difference between that and respect. I think that you should respect everybody until they give you a good reason not to respect them. But you should only like the people that you enjoy spending time with. if you don't enjoy spending time with somebody because they have different interests than you don't have to like them, but you can still respect them and say, hey, you know what? You do your thing. It's not my thing, but you know what? You do you. I think, like, the way I see it, there's a difference between those two things. Like, you can like somebody without respecting them, and you can respect somebody without liking them, if that makes sense. As Monika listens, she recalls vividly how Natsuki's friends were treating her and how naturally they did so. How long has she been fighting against that, refusing to change for others? Like, okay, that'd be a good example. I think Natsuki's friends, that's a good example of liking somebody without respecting them. Because, I mean, yeah, they were saying, you know, we're just jabbing you. And, you know, if that's something that they're doing all the time to her, then yeah, that means that they like her, like they enjoy spending time with her, but they don't respect her. And the flip side would be, you know, you're leaving somebody alone, you're not spending time with them because you and they don't really click, but you're not, you know, shunning them for liking what they like. That's respecting somebody without liking them. Like, I don't know if this is making sense to y'all, but that's the way I see it. I could only wish I was as strong as you are, Natsuki. You're so honest with yourself. I'm, like, always trying to come off as perfect for other people. Anytime there's, like, a hint of contention, I just crumble. But it's thanks to you that I really started thinking about this stuff. You really inspired me to start working on it. But well, like I said, I didn't even do anything. You were just being yourself. That's all you needed to do. Also, there's something else. Monika takes a breath. The thing is, I might have read a little bit of your manga. What? What the heck? Why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry. I think I just, like, kind of embarrassed to admit it after I gave you such a hard time about it. Ha, I can't believe you of all people were reading manga behind my back. That's so funny. Yeah, well, I just flipped through one of them out of curiosity, but I ended up reading a whole bunch of it. Excuse me. But I mean, one of the characters was in a literature club. What are the chances, right? You were reading Parfait Girls? Wow, you have good taste. So it was Parfait Girls. Just volume 1. And I kind of just picked it out randomly. Well, you have good intuition then. You have to tell me all your favorite parts. Well, I think it was some kind of weird fate. Because the character isn't just in a literature club, she also plays piano. It's just weird because I've always wanted to learn piano. She was like the perfect person that I always wish I was, if I just did what I wanted instead of always second-guessing myself. Monika walks over to the piano and sits down. So Natsuki is listening to Monika play the piano. I always felt like I should only share the absolute best parts of myself, the parts that will impress people or make them like me more. But after you join the club, I realize how self-destructive that mentality is. We share things because we want to express ourselves. Sharing experiences allows us to share emotions. And I just felt like I wanted to show you this, because if it wasn't for you, I never would have started playing. Ha! Hey, I think the credit for that one goes to Parfait Girls, not me. No. Well, maybe it's true that Parfait Girls put the thought into my head, but it was still you who inspired me to keep practicing every day. Every day? Because, you know, you just make me feel like if I want to do something, I should just do it. I mean, I still haven't been practicing for very long, and I'm not really good at it yet, like, at all. Reference from the game. But I wrote a song for the club, and I worked really, really hard on it. Another reference. It doesn't have any words or anything, but yeah. Alright, here we go. For somebody that has not practiced very long, she is surprisingly good. As somebody who took class piano in college, this ability right here, somebody could maybe do, like, a really good player, somebody who learns really fast would be able to do at the end of their first semester of class piano, and most people would probably not be able to play something like this until the middle of their second semester of class piano. And I'm talking music majors here who have never played piano before. Meaning they've played another musical instrument, but they've never played piano. Because, I mean, this is not, like, beginner level stuff here. This is, like, intermediate. And yeah, I get it. This is the theme for Ddlc Plus. With that, you have all 4 members. some of the some of the skills and techniques that she was using to play that song, yeah, that's definitely not like beginner stuff. Like somebody with absolutely no musical background at all, that would be something that they'd probably be playing after their second or third year of piano lessons. Unless they were just a really, really fast learner. That was so good. It was? Yeah, are you kidding? You're like already a pro. Ha, not even close. Does the song have a name? You said it was about the club, so yeah, it's called My Song, Your Note. Because everyone brings something so unique to the club. It's completely different from how I first imagined it, I think, but I was like such a selfish perfectionist. It shouldn't be about me, it should be about everyone. And it's all of you who helped shape the club into what it is. I would never change that. Well, I think that's really thoughtful, and kind of flattering. I kind of feel like I don't deserve this much validation. I wasn't exactly very patient either when I first joined the club. Nope. It makes me feel like I should probably apologize too. I think I was just really fed up with a lot of things, and I got frustrated after not getting my way in the club. So yeah, I really didn't mean to take it out on you. I was being really immature. Ha! If you get my stubborn butt to apologize, I guess you're doing something right. It's fine. I'm past it too. I think we're already even. But it's really sweet that you were thinking about it. It takes a lot of maturity to reflect on that kind of thing. Well, I wonder who I got it from. Oh, never mind. That was a reference to her dad, I guess. Well, anyway, we're even as long as you keep letting as long as you let me keep my manga in the club room. You did admit that it's a form of literature. You totally can't take that back now. You got me. The closet's all yours. Tell you what, I'll bring in a little something for the club tomorrow. I want to do something nice in return. Cupcakes, or some kind of confection. What kind of little something? Oh, you'll see. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. Next club meeting ends up being a particularly tasty one. Yep. Okay, so there we go. More music unlocked. Still not recognizing any of these new titles. So I don't know if we've had them unlocked yet. Looks like we have 6 more side stories to go through. Let's see. Did we get that picture? Yeah, we did. Got the picture of Natsuki and Monica at the piano. Cool. It's a nice picture. Anyway, so we've been going for about 2 hours today, guys. So I think that this would be a pretty good spot to end. We can pick it up tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I can do it at a different time. So I may do tomorrow's live stream maybe about, let's shoot for about 15 hours from now. Just so that people who, you know, in different time zones can have a better chance to watch the stream. But, yep, I think that we saw a lot today, you know, I've given my thoughts on the side stories so far. I think they're all right. I wouldn't say that they're amazing, but I wouldn't say they're bad either. I'd say yeah, they're all right. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. And as I said, about 15 hours will continue. Thank you for the ice cream, Avon. And with all that said, we are going to close. And until next time, I'm Cesar Madrazo, and I am out.